Hello and welcome to Real Men Feel. I'm your host, author, coach, and healer, Andy Grant. Today is my first episode of Real Men Feel since last June. That was 2023. Today is May 25th, 2024, so I'm just a few days shy of a full year-long gap. Last spring, for a variety of reasons, I decided to slow things down. I thought I needed to focus on my full-time job more. And before I knew it, things like Real Men Feel had completely stopped. For a long time, I didn't know if or when I might return. I need to give a shout out to the last guest that I had last year, Vanessa Cardenas. She was on for 2 episodes about betrayal, and she was fantastic. And we must have talked about how I'd been feeling, and she knew I was kind of headed down. But she reached out more times over 5 months to check in, to see why I was so quiet, ask if she could do anything. She would just send like a message that says, just reply to this if you're okay. Give me a thumb up or a thumb down. Just, show me any sign of life, Andy. And I ignored them all, like I did to everybody else that has tried to reach out to me over the past 10 or 11 months. And I turned it into a sick game. Like, oh, you're challenging my ghosting? I can ignore the world like nobody else. Well, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Not that it's a good idea to ignore your mental health in other months, but in honor of May, let's dive in. I invite you to be more aware of my mental health, and hopefully something I share helps you too. Now, I firmly believe that the best way to prevent suicide is to talk about suicide. I've been suicidal off and on for, it seems like most of my life, and heavily suicidal for the past, again, close to a full year. I did not talk about it because I wasn't sure if I wanted to prevent it. I also was concerned with, being the boy who cried wolf, because just a couple years ago, I had this another prolonged period very similar to this. So what do I mean by being heavily suicidal? Well, for me, that means going to bed every night, wishing, hoping, even praying to die, and being so discouraged and disappointed each morning that I woke. I ignored people who reached out to me for coaching, about podcasting, Akasha record readings, anything. Most days, I just made the hours pass. Mindless things, hours of solitaire, doing just enough work to get by, hours and hours of television, just being mindless. I was just in survival mode, getting through each day. Now, this didn't start just suddenly overnight. I made choices over a few weeks to months until I realized I was doing nothing. I was doing enough work to keep my job, go completely numb with television, and plot and plan my demise. Those are my 3 main activities. There's a term I coined when talking to myself, because I've spent hours and hours, many nights in my head, almost like doing an unrecorded episode of Real Men Feel. But the term is suicidal procrastination, meaning I didn't bother doing or planning anything because I was just going to kill myself, while also not taking any action to kill myself. I was in complete apathy, inaction, and procrastination in my living and dying. Why did I keep choosing to prolong this? I don't have an answer. I went through a very similar experience back in 2021. That began in November, lasted 8 months solid until my birthday, July 2022. I finally had enough, and I sprung to life and was quickly doing everything, and perhaps too quickly. I don't know, but I swung back hard until I didn't. And I do know the suffering wasn't mine alone. Close family and friends knew what was going on, and they made attempts to reach out to me, asking me to focus on something else, to take any positive action. And all of those attempts were just completely shut down by me. I did not want to feel better. What began as a conscious attempt to scale back because I felt I was doing too many things, resulting in not excelling in any of them. I was 1 year into a new role at Cisco. I had been a contractor and they converted me to a full-time job. And I decided after last May, I did a long, I think 3 weeks of training with the mystery school. When I came back, I felt so behind and I felt so disjointed getting back to work. And I thought that I was just doing a detriment to things and I wanted to scale back. But I ended up stopping everything that brought me any meaning or purpose until I was miserable, but I had a good job. The weirdest part to me, again, is that I didn't want to feel better. I could see that. I wanted to go down, down, down. Um, I wanted to give up and quit. But I know from all the prior times, the actual attempts I've made to end my life, the times I felt like it, I can't. Even when I think, I'm better off dead, there is more life and light and God in me than perhaps I'm willing to acknowledge or accept. I don't know. But that torment is hell. Not liking how I am, yet doing nothing to change it. Both of those periods were triggered by, deep spiritual training with the Modern Mystery School up in Toronto. And it's like I get this influx of light and I go so high energy that then when I come back to myself, my life pendulum swings the other way and all the darkness is there and rises up and things that I thought were healed and released and let go. And I judge myself because they're still there. What dumbfounds me is why I listen to the darkness. Somewhere along the descent, I decide this darkness, the gloom, the doom, the wanting to give up, the feeling of brokenness and hopelessness is the real me. That any feelings of good, any joy, that's the illusion. And that's the biggest mistake. While I was definitely in a depressed state this winter, my full-time job at Cisco was eliminated. Being laid off had me retreat even further. For a full 3 months following that news, I did nothing except sleep and watch TV. I watched anything and everything because it would give me something else to think about besides myself. I wanted no thoughts, no commitments, no responsibility. I was completely immature. I felt like a child. I felt like I had never grown up at all. I thought, how could I have made it this far being such a freaking misfit? When I did give my brain room, I did some of the normal rationalizations of suicidal people, such as people will be better off if I'm gone. Me ghosting everyone is my preparing everyone for me to be gone. Now, I don't feel it now, today, but what I was feeling, thinking, and believing is that I keep doing life wrong, that I've had enough and I want to quit being a human being. I believed every aspect of my life has peaked and everything is downhill from now on. I thought I've made tons of wrong financial and career choices. I'm an immature, selfish, lazy man. I'm a lifelong quitter. I've always been in search of home runs and been devastated when whatever I was betting on comes up short. Those are just some of the thoughts that ran seemingly constantly through my mind. None positive, none uplifting. One thing I wondered about was, how does a man mature? Aging doesn't just make it automatically happen. Does it come with fatherhood? Do I feel so immature because I don't have children? And what does an adult do if they realize they're immature? I think I'll explore that more in upcoming shows because again, I don't have an answer. There's no maturity pill, or does oh perhaps opening up and sharing this is a sign that I'm more mature than I'm giving myself credit for. I don't know, but it seems that when the going gets tough, Andy decides to quit. I fear not being able to do things, so I give up instead of failing, and I resist feeling better because there's some part of me that just doesn't feel worthy of feeling better. My mantra growing up was life sucks, then you die. I don't believe that anymore. I haven't for many, many years. Life is amazing. It can really be full of joyous adventures. But what does resurface for me is that I'm somehow doing it wrong. I'm doing life wrong. So I want to quit and move on to whatever's next. Right? I'm bad at being human. When I was younger and suicidal, I believed in nothing. I was an atheist. If I stopped breathing, I wanted perpetual black. I wanted perpetual sleep. And now I believe there is more. And a part of me is just like, let me just skip ahead. Let me dump the challenges I still have left here and get to whatever's next. But then I can't. There's more that won't let me than is urging me to, you know, so many people call suicide the easy way out, and it's not freaking easy. If suicide was easy, I would be gone. I don't doubt that. I know that being of service is a key part of a quality life for me, and for every human being, actually. And if you made it this far, I hope my sharing this was somehow of service to you. I know I am worthy of feeling good. I know that you are too. If you have any reaction to this episode, any suggestions, requests for future episodes, please post a comment or email me at realmenfeel@gmail.com. Until next time, and I do think there will be a next time, be good to yourself. Or at least be better to yourself than I've been to myself.